This is a buckid exclusive.
In November of 2024, I made a video on hudzell, who is a verified Roblox developer most known for Parkour Legacy and Parkour Reborn. I exposed him for consuming zoophillic NSFW art, directly and indirectly promoting his NSFW account to minors, defending Lolicon and covering up the situation about him. In this video, I'll revisit all of the evidence, adding in additional proof and claims, such as hudzell posting and allowing NSFW content inside of his Roblox game that's full of children, by the way, commissioning zoophillic art of him, consuming pedophilic NSFW content known as cup porn, threatening legal action towards those who cover the topic, and more. It's disgusting that hudzell has been able to remain in the Roblox community without any repercussions. I'm hoping that with this video I'll be able to notify as many people as I can about his wrongdoings and change the minds of those who are still defending him today.
Well, who is Biggie Small?
In this section, I'll be listing all of hudzell's social media accounts that are needed for context later on in the video. I'll also be providing proof that they are owned by hudzell himself, since many don't believe that some of the accounts in question are his. You can go to the timestamp on screen to skip this segment if you want to. hudzell RBX. This is hudzell's main Twitter account. It's connected to his Discord profile, which has the owner role in the official Parkour Reborn Discord server. Pretty easy thing to prove. ReonSK. This is hudzell's NSFW Twitter account. I could go many ways with proving this, but I'll take the route of hudzell accidentally making the previously mentioned legal threats on this account instead of his main Twitter account, which is a pretty funny mistake. I'll be talking about these legal threats in more detail later on, so stay tuned. Another thing to note about this account is that I used to have this display name. A lot of screenshots that include this account were taken when it had said display name TaylorRain01. This is hudzell's alt account on Twitter. It's cited in the location section of the ReonSK account. It's described as safe for work, which I'll get into later. Rehan.fluff.gay. This is hudzell's NSFW Blue Sky account. It's cited in the display name of the ReonSK Twitter account. hudzell. This was hudzell's main Twitter account before it got deleted and replaced by the hudzell RBX account. Here's hudzell saying that it was his. The March 24th incident is a term coined by fans of the Parkour Reborn game, which refers to the beginning of hudzell's quote-unquote downfall. It began when the two Discord servers of the Parkour duology got raided by hackers who got access to an account of an admin/developer for the game who goes by the name of Diabetosaur. The raiders directed server members to another Discord server, where they leveled serious accusations against hudzell and the Diabetosaur. To my knowledge, most if not all of their claims were never supported by any real evidence. However, these accusations led to the discovery of hudzell's NSFW account and what was being reposted on it. The two main reposts hudzell was called out for at the time consisted of four-legged Pokemon dogs with animal genitalia, remarkably having next to no human characteristics, if not none at all, classifying it as feral porn and therefore zoophillic. A day after the incident, hudzell publicly admitted on his TaylorRain01 account that the content he reposted was feral porn. This surprisingly went under everyone's radar despite the tweet still being publicly available as of now, likely because hudzell admitted this on his alt account. Anyways, after the discovery of his NSFW account and the art being reposted on it, hudzell took to his main Twitter account on the same day and made dozens of tweets/replies regarding the situation. The most infamous statement during this ordeal was hudzell stating that Lolicon is not pedophilia. For the uninitiated, Lolicon is a genre of fictional media which focuses on young or young-looking girl characters, particularly in a sexually suggestive or erotic manner, which is extremely disgusting, as is saying that such media is not pedophilic. I'ma leave this to text-to-speech, I don't wanna say this out loud.
Addendum: I do not believe Lolicon to be inherently pedophilic. The debates of Lolicon and zoophilia are very much distinct issues, and to conflate them for comparison is not viable.
By the way, the debates of Lolicon being pedophilic and feral NSFW art being zoophilic aren't very much distinct issues, as hudzell says they are. Both sides' arguments basically consist of, since the content is fictional and it isn't hurting anyone in real life, it's not morally unacceptable. And in fact, hudzell has used this exact argument before, which we'll get to shortly. Other statements he made in addition to the ones he made about Lolicon that he deleted later on and apologized for include a few about the NSFW content he consumes, lying/saying that it isn't zoophilic.
Doesn't look like any dog I've ever seen. Looks like they are enjoying it. I don't think you'll ever see any real animal display themselves. Move. or act in such a way outside of abuse. Please learn to distinguish fiction from reality.
This is the content in question. Note the many zoophillic tags, including literally zoophilia. In a moment, I'll show you a statement Hudzell made regarding the NSFW content he consumes, lying about the initial NSFW art that got him called out, saying that it's anthropomorphic when in reality it was anything but. It started when the user under the alias of Yukistan quote tweeted one of Hudzell's now deleted tweets regarding the NSFW content he consumes, calling out Hudzell.
This is literally some bullshit to map out what you did. It was literally a drawing of a dog. Don't come at me saying it was X cause blah blah. It was literally a dog.
After a short back and forth between the two that I don't have an archive of, Hudzell stated the following.
You clearly don't understand the difference. It may look like a dog to you, but is it a dog? Can you feel its fur? Does it have a beating heart? Is or was it alive at any point? No, then it's not a dog. No animals were abused. Nobody was hurt. No wrongs were done.
Just to clear this up to Hudzell, just because something is fictional doesn't automatically clear it of being morally unacceptable. Things like child abuse, non-consensual acts, and animal exploitation is where the line is drawn, even in art because of what it represents and/or encourages. Hudzell doesn't think so though, which I find insane considering Hudzell is 23 years old and turning 24 this year. He was born on October 23rd, 2001, and at the time of these tweets he was 22 years old. He obviously also holds the same mindset about such art today, since only 4 months ago he posted an image of himself in what seems to be VR chat, masturbating the animal genitalia on his avatar. I want to note a few more things before I close off this segment. One of the NSFW artworks that were initially called out in Hudzell's case was made by an NSFW artist known for drawing feral media. Not that this is surprising since I've proved already that he consumes feral NSFW many times in this video, but I just want to include everything that I can. Apparently, if you think that somebody is a zoophile and have proof of it, it's none of your business.
As for the other allegation, my only statement is that I am not a zoophile. The content I consume I do not consider zoophillic, and if your opinion differs, it's not your business.
I don't really understand this tweet, and I invite Hudzell to explain it to me, as well as of course anything else he doesn't agree with in this document. There are a lot of ways to contact me. The best one would probably be shooting me a DM on Discord. This segment is more or less a thrown together list of things Hudzell has done over the years. The claims in this segment aren't in a specific order. Let's start off with Hudzell displaying cropped NSFW content inside of his Roblox game. Around August of 2022, Hudzell submitted a bypass decal to the billboard system in Parkour Legacy that contained cropped NSFW. You might not catch it at first glance, but behind that red click here button is dragon genitalia. There's a lot of proof of this, and amongst multiple screenshots, there's even a video of the billboard in quote-unquote action. Here's a recording of the billboard when it was still up. There was also another incident similar to this one, but instead of Hudzell being the one to display the cropped NSFW, it was a random player of the game and Hudzell defended them. Mind you, at the time the game had several thousands of children playing it concurrently. I personally cannot identify him displaying NSFW content in the game as some sort of mistake or joke. This is legit just predatory. While we're on the topic of predatory behavior, I want to talk about Hudzell's NSFW account being very open to minors in the past and present. Up until January of 2025, Hudzell's NSFW Twitter account was unlocked for anyone to see what he was reposting, even during the March 24th incident, when the handle of the account was being thrown left and right as people were criticizing him for the content he consumed. The same goes for his Blue Sky account, but that one wasn't ever privated at all and is still up for anyone to see what he's posting. In fact, there's a statement Hudzell himself has made which proves my point the best.
Some weirdest likely minors from my work are creeping around this account for stuff to screenshot that accuse me of zoophilia. Enjoy the day, cat creeps.
Hey buddy, you should probably not willingly show porn to minors and maybe private your Twitter account.
Hudzell literally recognizes that minors are easily accessing his account and being shown the NSFW content he reposts on it, and mocks the idea of preventing them from accessing such content. What? As I've mentioned before, Hudzell has since privated his NSFW account, which on the surface looks like he realized that minors had easy access to the content he was reposting and he decided to shut that down, but in reality the actual reason is far from that. In January of 2025, Hudzell got into an argument with Schlep, Ruben, and their fans on Twitter. The argument itself doesn't have much relevance to what I'm going to talk about, but it was basically something about Hudzell arguing that the amount of users in a furry NSFW subreddit is not an accurate source universe of how many furries are degenerates. That's an argument that I actually agree with, but because of how ironic that was coming from hudzell, people, including myself, started to call him out for having an NSFW account where he reposted furry and feral porn. In turn, hudzell pre-privated his NSFW account as a form of damage control / to prevent people from calling him out. So yeah, that's why his account was locked, not because he realized that what he was doing was wrong. And I'm just gonna drop this gem right here. While we're on the topic of hudzell's NSFW account, he indirectly advertised it to minors when he used to have his NSFW account linked to his Discord profile. Not only that, according to hudzell himself, he actually refused to remove the connection from his Discord profile for some time, even when people explicitly told him to do so. I found this out after the recording of this video, but hudzell isn't actually sorry. Yeah, in fact, he's actually defending somebody that's doing the exact same thing he did. I'm just gonna run the clips of me finding out about this live, and you're gonna see. I was just trying to like look through hudzell's messages just as like a courtesy in case I missed anything. I stumbled upon this kind of conversation. Somebody in the server pointed out that one of the mods or developers for Parkour Reborn has a YouTube channel where he makes fetish related content, or just straight up fetish content, not just fetish related. Hudzell replies, "Yo's other content is not NSFW. Bruh, XD, LMAO, funny gamer moments. His quote-unquote fetish content is not NSFW, and the only reason you think it is because you don't agree with it." Dude, let's search up the definition of a fetish. What? A form of sexual desire in which gratification is strongly linked to a particular object or activity or a part of the body other than the sexual organs? Before we actually take a look at the content, Rejune Leo just to get soft and round. That is definitely not fetish related. This is also not NSFW, surely, right guys? Furry wardrobe malfunction and inflation. Inflation right in the fucking title. Another fetish thing. Another fetish thing. Another fetish thing. Are we serious? Are we serious? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Literally just playing changed. This is just changed gameplay. Another fucking changed gameplay video. Definitely not fetish related, guys. So yeah, hudzell, maybe the super admin in your Discord server with how many people in it? With 51,000 members in it, undoubtedly tens of thousands of kids in it. Yeah, maybe the super admin of a server with like tens of thousands of kids in it shouldn't have his like fetish gameplay YouTube channel linked to his Discord profile. That's like something that you recognize as like indirect exposure to NSFW things. So what are we doing here?
Gangsta Grizzle!
When talking about the content he consumes, hudzell often denies it's zoophillic and references an artist named Daycat instead.
These arguments happened over a year ago and they still get brought up. I can't engage with any topics to do with furries anymore in my Roblox Twitter cause these Puritans will pull up the screenshot receipts of me trying to defend myself for reposting Daycat.
The arguments hudzell refers to here didn't happen over 1 year ago, as he claims, by the way. At the time it was 10 months ago, but whatever. Anyways, Daycat is an NSFW artist who draws zoophillic NSFW content, and you might remember him from a few pages ago in this screenshot. Again, note the zoophilia tag. Clearly the argument of it's not zoophilia, it's Daycat doesn't really hold up when you look into it. Here's an undated statement hudzell made in what I presume is the Parkour Legacy server before it was damaged beyond repair.
It strongly depends on the dynamic of the relationship. If both individuals are consenting and there is no suspected abuse, I think it's fine to date at that age range.
The message hudzell is replying to here is cut off a bit, but you can tell that it says
14 and 17 could be a whole beard and someone who hasn't had their first period yet.
If it's not obvious, a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old have an extremely big difference in maturity, life experiences, goals, and so on. While I wouldn't immediately mark this statement as pedophilic, it's still a very controversial and questionable statement to make. Make of his statement what you will. As I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, hudzell has an alt account with the handle TaylorRain01, and it's labeled as safe for work on his Rion SK account. But surprise surprise, it's not actually safe for work. Here's a clip from my initial video on hudzell, as I'm really not in the mood to look at more NSFW on his account. I found this out after the recording, but he has a third Twitter account which he praises as completely safe for work on his NSFW account. But when you actually look at it, it's full of sexually suggestive stuff. Like characters bending over backwards, characters in underwear or with visible cleavage, and quote-unquote memes. I guess they're memes in a sense of having some sort of punchline, but the joke is just sex and then they put some like femboys in bikinis in the meme. All I'm gonna say about this is that I personally wouldn't hesitate to call him a pedophile for this. Here's another undated statement in which I again presume is the Parkour Legacy Discord server.
I'm literally giving away my dog because I don't trust myself to continue giving her adequate care. Lol.
Yes, hudzell has a dog, and if my previous points didn't convince you that he shouldn't own a dog, I'm hoping this one will. In December of 2024, hudzell saw a tweet on his timeline which read,
"Someone just left a Discord server I'm in because I said being dead is good."
He then decided to reply to it, arguing that
Didn't deserve to die.
this tweet was obviously met with backlash, but not very much of it after he deleted the tweets shortly after. I don't think hudzell is a straight up Nazi, but come on, who says that Hitler doesn't deserve to die, bro? There's two more things I want to mention in this segment, and I put them towards the end of the segment because of the questionability around it. The first one that I'm going to talk about seems to be a genuine mistake, while the other is a bit outdated. In December of 2024, hudzell accidentally reposted sexually suggestive tweets on the wrong account, as he forgot to switch from the hudzell RBX account to his NSFW account. This seems to have been an honest mistake though, and the only critique I have of this is that hudzell should be more careful about things like this, but otherwise I don't think this is that big of a deal. Warning, the following screenshots are a bit outdated, ranging for 2017 to 2020, plus one undated statement, but I felt like I needed to put this in the video regardless, just in case. I'm going to talk about hudzell's multiple incidents of saying the N-word and the hard R 7 to 5 years ago. Up until the last screenshot of him saying it, he was 18 years old, turning 19 soon. Yeah, not much commentary to add here, the images speak for themselves. In this undated message, he states that, quote, N-word allegations have a 6-month shelf life, as if he gets to decide that at all. I'm really rushing this video right now, and you can probably tell by this message right here. Video will probably be out next week, and today is like Saturday, so... no wait, it's Sunday. That's even worse. So yeah, I'm rushing this, and I figured I'd put this towards the end of the chapter, but I was made aware of a NSFW art piece that hudzell reposted. It's cup porn. It's cup porn. If you don't know what cup porn is, it's like on the screen right now. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. Kitty stuffing. But yeah, that's it for this segment. On December 8th, a video titled "The Most Depraved Roblox Developer Ever" by jamesrr premiered. The video obviously went over the hudzell situation, and a day after it premiered, jamesrr received a Twitter DM from hudzell. Hudzell firstly invites jamesrr to have a discussion about this video, admitting that he's made, quote, several mistakes and some major PR blunders, but claims that jamesr's video was somehow defamatory, even though the video was supported by lots of evidence. He then calls himself an honest person, which he disproves himself within the same day, as he admits he didn't even watch the video before calling it defamatory. By the way, the thing he calls defamatory is jamesrr calling him a degenerate, which is seen as protected opinion under the First Amendment of the United States of America, where both hudzell and jamesrr are from. Not to mention that jamesr's statement of hudzell being a degenerate is supported by hudzell's extensive history of degenerate acts. For example, here is hudzell commissioning NSFW artwork of himself that contains animal genitalia. On the screen are jamesr's entire DMs with hudzell, from where I quoted hudzell's previous statements. And then here hudzell threatens jamesrr with legal action. Since I extensively helped in making jamesr's video, I don't think it'd be crazy to say that these legal threats are also an indirect attack on me. I doubt hudzell will actually follow through with legal action, since suing minors wouldn't really help his already fucked PR. I think he was just trying to scare off jamesrr by mentioning legal action possibly being taken against him. Hudzell also covered up the situation about him in the Parkour Reborn Discord server, as a day after March 24th, a rule was established in the server that extensively prevented members from talking about the situation. For example, just saying the phrases "Parkour Reborn is over" and "the game is dead" would and will get you punished, and those two phrases are literally quoted in the rules, and I believe that not being allowed to talk about hudzell's actions in the server led to the topic being mostly uncovered. Hopefully that will change now though. If you're a YouTuber, I encourage you to make your own video on this. Crediting me would also be nice if that's not too much to ask for. This next one is more of a shaky claim, but the development team behind the parkour games, I don't know if it was hudzell directly, allegedly gave an ex-staff member hush money, 4,000 Robux, after they called out the transphobia of 2 other staff members. This is more of an allegation rather than an actual proven thing, since I wasn't provided concrete evidence that these 4,000 Robux are hush money, but nevertheless I feel like it still belongs in the document. Are we hudzell? Unfortunately, a police report can't be made since in North Carolina, the state hudzell lives in, consuming feral/zoophillic NSFW content is not illegal. But for starters, you can sign the change.org petition that's currently fighting to take hudzell's dog Freya away from him. If the petition gets enough signatures, animal control services could notice the petition and act on it accordingly. Reminder that hudzell himself stated that he doesn't trust himself to give Freya adequate care. What you can also do is spread this topic around. If you're just a viewer, send it around in the parkour community or anywhere you seem fit. If you're a YouTuber, make your own video covering the situation, etc, etc. And yeah, that's it.
Subscribe to Buckid and Julius Cole.
Never give a fuck about a bad bitch.